That is where I'm going back to my Lord. The hatredness, any good you do, it will be against you. My Lord, in St. John 14:1, you told me say you will be coming back. You love the world, that's the why you say you won't be God's son to die for my sin. Whosoever believe in him shall not perish, but has everlasting life. When are you coming by? They are fighting. Brother, they say are fighting. I am tired. I am tired. Can we go la la? Muna over free, get wawa fulaganye. Mate, Kwaba fula hovela. Ngaya biakbe.
The masses of the people are dying for curable diseases. 5 years along the line, they are reducing the budget of the health sector. In this year's budgetary appropriation, the health sector has received reduction of budgetary appropriation. The masses of the people are neglected and abandoned. 5 years along the line, the education sector is in tatters. 5 years along the line, the University of Liberia is in feculence. 5 years along the line, Federal Liberia. 5 years along the line, the 19,736 employees of the education sector of the Republic are subjected to 92 million, while the final ministry of 920 staffers have experienced astronomical budgetary increment for 60 million to 152 million.
Yo! 5 years government has failed us. Yo!
say enough is enough. Yo, yo. Man down. 5 years along the line, more than 16,000 students at the University of Liberia. 1,759 employees at the University of Liberia continue to be subjected to 17 million. While the President of the Republic of Liberia, a single individual budget is increasing from 2 million to 5 million. 5 years along the line, there is nothing called happiness in the Republic of Liberia.
Of the state. Yo.
5 years along the line, the legacy is corruption. If it is not 16 billion, it is 25 million. If it is not 25 million, it's the abuse of the 24.8 million intended for the national reform. And we are disappointed in the national legislature that they can come here and conspire against the Liberian people to backdate an agreement while the element Minister Twain was caught in the GSC report, but the elements here do not have the balls to bring that monster criminal to tax and subject him beyond the rusty bar. So 5 years along the line, we have come to inform the Liberian people, we have come to inform the national legislature that on July 26th, the Student Unification Party will boycott the July 26th and organize the masses of the Liberian people in the street to protest in demand of structural repair in their conditions and in demand of fixing the country because the country is not at the service of the Liberian people. In this life, fellow Liberians and fellow students, we will turn over to the Secretary General of the Student Unification Party. We will present the Chairman of the Student Unification Party. To present the petition of the Student Unification Party. We will have legitimacy the position of the Student Unification Party. Because we are about to take the masses of the people. Viva! Social justice academic freedom, viva! Where do? Comrades and friends, fellow Liberians, members of the Liberian Senate, fellow pressmen and women, from the inner sanctum of the Student Unification Party, we convey to you our fraternal greetings. And today we've come not just to demonstrate our dismay, not just to demonstrate our disappointment in the way the affairs of the Liberian society have been run for the last 5 years under the We Are Stewardship, but we've come to say to the legislature as well that giving responsibility by the mass of the Liberian people to come here and to represent them means that you have to work in the best interest of the people by performing laws and policies that will improve their well-being or their welfare. But the last 5 years have been different. So a few days ago, by member of the 31st Central Committee and Politburo of the Student Unification Party, the chairman of the Student Unification Party gave a position statement on the issue of independence celebration this year. And we are very emphatic and unequivocal. There is nothing worth celebration or nothing worth to be celebrated this year independence. And this is not just the first time of the Student Unification Party for those of you who want to ask. 2018 we boycotted independence celebration because the president refused to declare his asset. And here we are again. 5 years down the line, the hallmark of governance in the society is corruption. Mendacity and plundering of the state resources at the disadvantage of the mass of the Liberian people who suffer the hell of poverty in this country. So it is against the backdrop that we've come here today to decisively address the issue of corruption precisely at Legix. A few weeks ago, the AACC submitted the final report of the investigation of corruption sagas at Legix
the Ministry of Agriculture, Water and Sewer, and the list go on. But it was amazing to note that since then, the president of this country was heard on a local radio decisively defending corruption. And the Minister of Justice or the Ministry of Justice has done nothing to prosecute those who have been indicted by the LACC. So today we've come, as part of our campaign launch a few days ago, to face this country. Facing this country is facing a legislature that will do the business of the Liberian people. Facing this country means you have to deal decisively with the issue of corruption and bad governance. Well, 5 years down the line, State Department report on this country has been very wrong and it has been tragic. The issue of human rights, corruption, rule of law, everything, Liberia is lagging behind. Liberia is lagging behind. So as an institution bestowed with the spirit to struggle for the dignity of our people by our history, we are here today to give a position statement on the corruption saga alleges. Professor Francis Ray is Lieutenant General or Director General in Wilmer Smith and that of Lawrence Josh. They were caught in a cobweb of corruption and nothing is being done. So we've come to implore the Liberian Senate that you have to pressure the Ministry of Justice to ensure that these people account for everything they've done against the interests of the society. So at this point, before we usher in the chairman, you must understand that on the 26th, we are clear with this message that we'll boycott independence and we'll be having a mass protest rally. We've talked to the security apparatus precisely the Ministry of Justice and showing us security. They are yet to say anything. It is our constitutional right inscribed in Article 1, Article 15, and Article 17 of the Constitution of this society. And as part of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, we've got right to assembly, expression, and freedom of speech. Freedom of speech, comrades. So today we've come here to let you know that on the 26th, peacefully, the Student Unification Party, under the able leadership of Chairman Mustafa Kane, will commandeer the people of Liberia into action. Oh yes, this regime promised that they will have brought people to justice. Implementation of the TRC report. 5 years down the line, they are supporting those who committed heinous atrocities against the masses of the Liberian people. Those who plunder the state resources, those who kill our people in the society must not be seen as people who can commit wrong against our people and can go scot-free. So this government needs to implement the issue of World Economic Crimes Court in the society. So at this point, we just wanted you to know that on the 26th, the Student Unification Party will be in a protest endeavor. And that if anything is to go wrong, the Liberian state under the stewardship of Georgia is to be held responsible.
Face the country, face all. Yo.
You cannot have the university in tatters. You cannot have the economy fail. The economy has failed massively. They said the running country, hey, 5 years down the line, you cannot account for a single foreign direct investment. 5 years down the line, unemployment is swelling. 5 years down the line, decadence, despair, and disdain are the imagery of the masses of the Liberian people. 5 years down the line.
They are bastard that economy. Yo.
And Princess Cooper will die. No good investigation.
Yo. Political and autopsy report. Yo.
This is the state of the affairs under the we administration. So at this point, we usher in the chairman of the 31st Central Committee,
As well as veterans of the indomitable ruling Vanguard Unification Party. We bring you warm fraternal revolutionary greetings from the Central Committee and Porter Bureau of the all-powerful Vanguard Unification Party. And hereby petitions the Liberian Senate on the matter of the corruption saga alleges and a subsequent report by the LACC recommending prosecution of the Director General and his 2 deputies, amongst others. It is urgent and important that the Senate be informed that on July 7, 2020,
also, I want to be clear. We will not tolerate those kind of citizens, those that constantly insulting the president. I want to be clear that after this, there will be no citizen in this country, and I can defy you that will ever insult the president and think he will walk in the street prison. Threatening the states constantly is
calling on George Weah. I listened to him when he said, please open my carton. When George Weah said that this time around, yes, something for me. Yeah, give me one of the and give me one of the best in that cartoon. These things have been sent by our supporters. I received 1,200 pieces of beret. I think you can see the cartoon there. They are all in the cartoon. I don't want to take up pieces there. You don't show it. So, bossman, please dress more. I don't even know you're a correct journalist and you wearing sandals in my office. Sorry. We have received this from our supporters. This is to tell the CDC that we are getting ready. We're coming to start vetting our people. 2 to 3 weeks from now, we're coming to start training our men to protect the people of this country, because we know that the police have become a private security to this president. Police can be there. Our citizens are brutalized. Gone are those days. All those things will happen again. We will protect our people. The opposition, we are getting ready to protect our people. And don't ask me who is in the opposition. The opposition stay together. You see the vest? We got 1,200 pieces. We got 1,200 beret. 1,200 beret. 1,200 beret. Ambassador, we are getting ready. Ambassador, we are also had a press conference and said this time around, nobody will curse me and go free. Ambassador, we want to say your dirty stink mouth. We give you the Liberian government not to get people to brutalize the citizens of this country. You sat down here, you told Kai Fale in Grand Jide to naked Alexander Kume and myself. You dirty man. You are very dirty. Your mouth is very stink because you smoke up here already. Look, let me tell you something. You think you can make everybody scared in the country? We are getting ready for you. We are getting ready to protect our people. You see the verse? I just received one. Just show the cartoon. I don't want it to be like, we're just saying something because we want to say it. We received 1,000. You see the beret? These are beret. These are vests. We have received 1,200 vests and 1,200 beret. Mr. Fool. You stupid man, the Pope gave you the authority to protect the Liberian people. You got people brutalizing people, you can't do nothing about it. You say the man that is in hospital should leave to come go get, because they're not class where or because they're not Donald Trump where. Your stink open your mouth. You say when people cause you, don't go free. I'm causing you now. I know what prophet, no prophet here, I want you to come. Cause you come. When you call somebody, when they go to the court, they'll find you. You will not take gun. Your stink open your mouth. Stupid man that you like take power, give it to you. You're making fun of the power. You passing around making music. You passing around tasting buga. Is that what you are elected for? You fool. Then you say when somebody insult you. Look, we are getting ready to train our people. Not with gun, but to protect our people. And we are getting ready with vetting the people already. 3 weeks from now, we'll be inviting the press to come on the beach where we'll be training our people in self-defense and how to protect themselves and how to protect our political leaders. I'm a member of the CPP. I remain being a member of the CPP. I pay loyalty to all my political leaders, and I respect all my political leaders. We are going to protect them, Mr. Fool. You think we'll have group of Zogo harassing people and we say we look at you, your dirty stink mouth, open your mouth. Then you say when somebody calls you, you will get to them. Come to me, I'm here. You think I'm afraid? You think I'm afraid? Look, let me send this as a warning to you.
I was listening to a police command.
What did they say?
There is nothing that has come to my attention yet. The committee.
Let me welcome you to the magnificent Abraka Talk Show. Here we bring you the truth. We are not here to behave like Josh Manner. We are someone who knows it all. We are the master's children. Good morning, Francis. You are muted. Francis, good morning.
Good morning, AB. How you doing?
I'm doing quite okay.
As usual, my brother, I want to give my God the glory for giving me the air that I breathe that I don't pay for. And I also want to say thank you plenty to my God for taking me to bed and making me to wake up hefty and motivated about the spirit that we are gearing up to, and motivated by some of our leaders in the opposition camp and on behalf of the Liberian people.
Okay.
I think we are getting there. We are not there yet, but I think we are getting there.
Okay. Let me announce to our audience that I will be bringing on Vani El Mame. He was the co-chair for Parties Affairs, the Student Unification Party. Vani Mame was the co-chair for Student Affairs, Party Affairs, the Student Unification Party. Vani, good morning.
Good morning, Abraham K. Kamara, my comrade and ideologue of the Vanguard Student Unification Party.
So, Francis, I will ask you for you. Vani, who is Vani?
Well, El Vani B. Mame has been a student advocate and a leader for social justice in Liberia since his inception at the University of Liberia, or even before the inception of my inception at the University of Liberia. I also serve, if people don't know, I also serve as the chief investigator of the Independent National Commission on Human Rights of the Republic of Liberia in 2015, where we brought a lot of people to book, and we wrote reports against officers of the National Police for their violent behavior against the citizenry, and also we brought report against corporate institutions that were gangsterizing the economy of the country. But more besides, we were also there as social voices, and put moral voices against ills in society. So El Vani Mame, I don't want to hold you too long. I don't want to go through a long profile, but I was a student leader. I became a human rights investigator, and I'm an advocate for social justice in the Liberian society.
Thank you. I will ask my co-host for him to go first with his first questions.
All right. Again, first and foremost, I want to welcome our guest on behalf of Liberia Today talk show this morning, Brother Vani, and I also want to welcome our audience in their majority, those are on now and those who will come on later on. Vani, I think we are all aware of what is going on. Is he getting me, AB?
Yeah, he is
Yeah.
getting you.
Okay, we are all aware of what is going on. Yesterday, we listened to President George Weah, and I think his behavior has become consistent. Why do you think President Weah continued to do a pre-recording style of press conferences since he became president?
Well, I believe President Weah is not sophisticated enough to probably be able to speak from his mind like I'm doing right now. Like I said, he's not sophisticated enough to be able to do unscripted reading without having some significant error. For this reason, I believe he was giving a scripted version of his speech to be able to read. I cannot 100% explain all of the reasons behind why he's been giving a scripted text to read from, but what I can say is it is due to a lack of sophistication. One of the reasons would be due to lack of sophistication. Yeah. Now, just to inform you about what just happened, or just to stress some point on what happened on this 175th independence celebration. The president of the Republic of Liberia reneged on his responsibility, on his fiduciary responsibility as a president and as the commander-in-chief of the Republic of Liberia, to ensure that there's stability within the country, that there's peace, and that there's justice, and that there's punitive action against violence in our country. Because for 7 days, the president remained mute. When violence took place on camera, he had nothing to say, nothing to do. Only after 7 days, when pressure was mounted from the international community, which we are aware of, he was then giving something to read to calm the nerves of the Liberian people. But the Liberian people are not stupid. They are aware of the forces that brought him to condemn the action that was already condemnable, that a lot of people in the international community had already condemned, in the religious community, in the political community had already condemned, but the commander-in-chief had refused to do so because, as you all know, this thing was a CDC-sponsored violence. So for a CDC leader, because he's the standard bearer, be reminded that he's the standard bearer of the CDC. So for the standard bearer of the CDC to condemn an action of his partisans was something that was inimical to the existence of the CDC. So he chose to remain quiet and thought it was going to be one of those issues that were just going to be swept under the carpet, or that was just going to go away within few days. Because normally they will give these things 3 days, and if there's a new event taking place, it will swallow the previous event. But you cannot carry out violence against the Student Unification Party and expect that within 3 days it will be buried under the rug. No, that's not going to happen. And since it didn't happen, and the international community mounted pressure, the party went to meeting. They had a discussion. They said, you're going to read a scripted message, and you're going to remain on message. And for him to remain on message, the idea was to give him a page to read from, a playbook. Even though he lied about things that happened, even though he disowned his own, even though he neglected the CDC COP, we all know that the COP, somewhere I read, the COP was just, they were just brought into the CDC. They were just officially brought into the CDC in 2022. So all those things he said, they are just meant to calm the nerves of the Liberian people, but we are aware of the chicanery. We are aware of all of those things that they are doing. Yes, so thank you.
Yeah, before I give ask my next question, let me just update our audience with our topic this morning. Our topic this morning is update on Liberia's 175 Independence Day celebration, characterized by brutality against student Christopher Walter Sisulu civilian. What effort have the Ministry of Justice made to bring the perpetrators to justice? That is our topic this morning that we are discussing. So my next question, Vanny, is, considering our recent ugly political past, based on the bad governance of government yesterday and today, and the consistent behavior of the government under the stewardship of George Weah, where are we headed as a country and as a people?
Okay, and again, thank you very much for your question, my dear brother. You see, people who don't know about the role of the Vanguard Student Unification Party of the University of Liberia will doubt the ability for us to be able to bring about change. As we speak, the 175th anniversary, characterized by violence, reminded us of our ugly past that led us down over 14 years of civil crisis, unrest, violence, torture, murder. Okay? So, this particular year, 2022, the violence that took place right before the American embassy, what we saw was a clear reminder of what took place in 1990. The killing, the dragging, the flogging, the, the stripping naked of our president in the public, recorded on video, was this particular year independence anniversary was a clear reminder of those things that happened that led us down this road of violence and destruction of over 200,000 lives. So when we see these things happen, your question was, where do we go when we continue like this? I can tell you for sure that if we continue like this, violence without impunity, violence without punitive action will lead us back down that exact rabbit hole, will lead us down back the road where people were miming and taking machetes and chopping off one another's head, where people were ripping our mothers and sisters. This is exactly what we avoided by going to several peace accords. And if President Weah, who is the commander in chief, the CDC, that is the ruling government, the ruling party, if they cannot put their acts together to ensure that there is punitive actions for all of these violence that took place, each and every individual be brought to book. If that does not happen, I can tell you for sure, people who were maltreated, people who were abused, people who were dragged, people who were flogged will seek recourse through violence because those who did it initially did not receive any punitive action. So we are calling on the government. We are saying that this must not be one of those things that go under the carpet. We are asking for them to come down hard in every legal framework to ensure that each and every one of those individuals that was involved in that violence be brought to justice, and that should happen very soon. Because justice delayed is justice denied. So I'm saying again, to answer your question shortly, if we continue down this particular path of violence with impunity, Liberia is headed down the very rabbit hole we came from in 1990. Thank you.
Yeah, let me give you my last question so I can hold my host because we would like for the conversation to be interactive. My my last question is, just few minutes after the president recorded speech, the very CDC COP that melted violence and human rights abuse against our people, especially students of the University of Liberia, on 26th day, that very group of people that George Weah lied about, that they are not part of the CDC, they also came up with a counter press conference and making specific reference to the president recorded speech. And in addition to that, based on our statute and based on our system of governance, the Ministry of Justice is the one that is charged with responsibility of prosecution of crimes, all crimes against the state.
Yep.
Do we really need the president to be asking or mandating the Ministry of Justice to take care of their own responsibility? In addition to that, so what is the government, especially the president, is doing when this particular group of people that he denounced have come up with a counter press conference?
So, thank you very much for your question. Now, let me just inform you. We all are aware that the Ministry of Justice is close with the responsibility to ensure that there's justice in our country and perpetrators of violence are brought to book. But if the Ministry of Justice, the Liberian National Police, is in the pocket of the president, when the Ministry of Justice and the Liberian National Police is a surrogate of the status quo, when the Liberian National Police and the Ministry of Justice dance at the whims and caprices of the president and the CDC, what do you expect? Do you expect them to go after their own? Do you expect them to carry on arrest? Do you expect them to bring the perpetrators to justice when they are aware that these perpetrators are their partisans, their surrogates? No. You understand? That's the reason why no arrest up to last night. I've been monitoring. No single arrest has been made. Not a single arrest has been made. And so for that reason, we are already aware. It's not a hidden secret. There's an open secret that the CDC sponsored these hooligans, these charlatans, these zombies, these criminals to go and carry on violence against the Vanguard Student Unification Party at the American Embassy. You all know, Student Unification Party has launched this campaign for
We lost Vanny Mame. He will come back.
ago, or over several weeks ago, for you to suddenly see another group saying Georgia is fixing the country, spring out of nowhere, and went to the American embassy only to counter protest to exactly where the student unification was protesting, left the pavilion several miles away, and went to the American embassy to. It was plain. This thing was orchestrated, and the CDC is complicit in this particular crime. The CDC is a part of it. They aided and abetted the violence that took place. And in fact, the CDC is responsible, including its standard bearer, George Weah. This is what I have to say. George Weah, the standard bearer of the CDC and the CDC leadership, plus the Liberian government, is complicit in this particular violence, this brutality, this hooliganism that took place on July 26 at the American embassy. There can be no escape. They got the law of respondeat superior, where the responsibility of the unit is on the head of the unit. George Weah heads this unit. George Weah is aware of this auxiliary of CDC called the CDC COP. They were endorsed, they were indoctrinated, and they were armed. They were sent, they were told to go and carry on violence as a deterrent for any future protest. And we all know protest is allowed and enshrined in our constitution, and it is protected by our Magna Carta. It is protected by our laws. So the freedom of speech and the freedom of assembly and the freedom of expression was violated knowingly, aided and abetted by the CDC and its leadership. And you don't expect the Justice Ministry that is in the pockets of the president. You don't expect the police. You can see them smiling. You can see them laughing. When did the police arrive on the scene? Several moments after the incident had occurred and when everything had subsided. That is complacency in the crime that was committed, in the violence that was committed. The CDC is responsible, and they should take responsibility. Joshua should be brave enough, he should be man enough, he should develop the balls enough to come and take responsibility for the actions of his people and apologize to the Liberian people, apologize to the Student Unification Party, because that's how healing starts. Healing starts with truth-telling. Reconciliation starts with truth-telling. If George Weah cannot be able to tell the truth and you'll be a liar, I'm just disappointed in the CDC and the George Weah leadership for lying about something that they very well know that they sponsored and they orchestrated and they implemented.
All right. Okay. Vanny, I would
Thank you,
like
my brother. Thank you.
Yeah.
I would like to play you a clip here. Let our audience hear and let our audience see.
Fellow citizens, I want to first express my heartfelt thanks and appreciation to all Liberians and friends of Liberia alike for the beautiful celebrations of the country's 175th Independence Day on July 26, 2022. I am also grateful to neighboring heads of state and other dignitaries who joined us to mark this very important milestone in our nation's history, including President Umaru Sissoko Embalo of Guinea-Bissau, President Muhammadu Buhari of Nigeria, and President Adama Barrow of the Gambia. I also seize this opportunity to thank the government and people of the United States of America for the historical gift of solidarity, and to President Biden for his invitation to join him in Washington, D.C. in December to discuss peace and development along with other African leaders. Fellow Liberians, the main purpose of my address today is to denounce in the strongest terms the violence which was perpetrated by some youth in the early hours of July 26, when Liberians at home and abroad were just preparing to celebrate such an important day for the country. Violence is totally unacceptable. I have stressed in all my public engagements the need to maintain the hard-earned peace that we now enjoy. This is a cause for which I have learned personal sacrifice as an ambassador of peace. So, if you claim to love me or follow my political ideology, you cannot do so with violence. Anyone or group that has my image on a banner in support of me and my government has to be peaceful, respectful, and tolerant. You cannot support a man of peace by being violent. I also want to stress, as the founding father of the Congress for Democratic Change, now the Coalition for Democratic Change, that we do not have any CDC cop within our organization. When you come to join us, you become a CDC partisan of peace, democracy, and development. Therefore, I have mandated the Ministry of Justice and the entire national security apparatus to immediately arrest all those involved in the violent incident on July 26, 2022, and ensure that they face the full weight of the law. I have also...
Okay. Here is my question. Don't you think that the president of the Republic of Liberia, George Manawia, did extremely well by him coming out to be able to tell the Liberian people where is this COP CDC, that they are not member, that the COP CDC, that they are not member of that there is no group that is formed within the CDC that is called CDC COP. That is number one. Number two, don't you think that the president should be clapped for him taking the matter of authority, for him to stand on the mark, to be able to ask the Justice Ministry, to be able to ask the health sector for them to be able to get treatment to our comrades and friends. Don't you think so?
Well, let me just tell you, the action was belated. And because it was belated, of course, those are commendable things. But timing is important. Mind you, The individual he's talking about is already out of the country, going through medical attention. People have already put resources together to ensure that this particular comrade is taken care of. What had happened if this was a grave or severe incident where this particular individual needed life support within the next 2 or 3 days? He would have died. So the government are going to be coming in after the guy had died to bring in medical support or financial support. So that is why we are saying there is something commendable, but we cannot clap for him.
Why?
Mind you, because it's related.
We just love. Okay.
The second thing is regarding the denouncing of the violence and the perpetrators of the violence. Those guys from the CDC COP are members and an auxiliary of the CDC. They are recognized, they are on camera, they are on picture, they have documentary evidence, standing with party leaders, promulgating the ideology of the CDC, going to Jefferson Koji, who happens to be a state major and a stalwart of the CDC. And you cannot come here to come and tell us they are not a member of the CDC. You can tell me you take responsibility for their action and you denounce their action, but to say they are not a member or you don't know them is clear deception. Deception with an intention to cover up. Deception with an intention to usurp justice. So, and deception with an intention to save face. That this is not CDC's behavior, but this is CDC's behavior. We know. You all know how some governments can operate. They don't want to send the police to carry on violence. Then they'll say, oh, it's the government action. So they implore the service of other surrogates, other hooligans, gangsters, thugs, goons to go and carry on their actions. It happened to me on the University of Liberia campus. I became a target for my ability to speak against ills and write against ills in society. People within the government who I cannot mention their name got the service of hooligans, thugs, bandits to go on the university campus, join the course, call them course, the student grouping that was a combination of SIM and Studa, they almost killed me on the campus, and I was their target. People in government told them, say, when you go on campus, look for two persons. Elvani Mame, because he's the pen pusher, because he's the one of the most vocal person. Don't go after any group of people. When you get Mame, the whole noise will finish. And they targeted me. They almost killed me. You are aware. That is the reason why this very government saw that strategy and applied the exact same strategy. So I'm not going to clap for Jovia for doing something he should have done 7 days ago. I'm not going to commend him and clap for him. Of course, it's a commendable act to come and condemn violence. It's a commendable act to come and condemn the perpetrators of violence and denounce their behavior and denounce them. But to lie about their existence within the CDC as an auxiliary group is also another crime. It's also desecrating the sanctity of the presidency. I will not commend him for that. It is unacceptable. It is ridiculous. It is preposterous on the part of the president to desecrate the sanctity of the presidency with blinking lies. I will not accept that, and I will not clap for him.
Don't you think it is the president is trying to cover up? Because he is coming to the USA and group of Liberians have promised that they would chastise him at the Liberian when he come to the USA, that they would chastise him. So don't you think that the president is trying to cover for him to be given a late face, that Joe Biden can be able to, because currently there are signing, Liberians are signing online. Online petition is going on currently.
Yeah.
So don't you think that could be one of the things that the president saw? And before I rest that my questions, the European Union, all the European countries that have the embassy into our country, down to the Chinese, they are all condemned that before the president can be able to come out. Don't you think so?
Let me start quickly. So that is to tell you that the president is not effective. That is being very, very ineffective. When a president is ineffective to that extent, he doesn't even deserve to be a president. And I'm saying that today, people will say, oh, but you supported change in Liberia. You supported the opposition to take power from Madam Salif. Yes, I did. I supported change. I supported an idea. I did not support the transformation from bad to worse. We all anticipated well. We all anticipated good. George Rice is afraid that when he comes to America, there's an online petition going on. The citizens are gathering. I'm going to be part of that petition. I'm going to be a part of that process. He fears the condemnation. In fact, I'm even encouraging him to come. I don't want them to revoke that invitation. I want him to come to America. Let him come here. The very protest they are avoiding in Liberia, they will come and meet up, right? And let's see whether they will have thugs and hooligans in the same manner they carry on their ruthless behavior in Liberia. Let's see whether that will be repeated here. And let me just tell you, nobody can deter Soup from carrying on protests ever. If you know Soup, you will know that Soup fought tyranny. You will know that in 1970, Soup fought a dictatorial, not only dictatorial, but a decadent two-week party regime and brought it down. They fought dictatorship, Samuel Kanyando. They fought the tyranny of Taylor. They fought all forms of evil vices for our society and brought it down. One day, George Weah will be history. One day, CDC will be history. And I'm just warning those out there who think that power is forever and drunk with power and carry on misrule and carry on violence, that this thing too shall pass. And Soup will remain. Soup remains supreme. Soup has been there since 1970. Soup will remain there after 2022. So they gotta be careful that whatever they do, George Weah is trying to build a very bad legacy for the first indigenous Liberian leader to take power through the ballot box. So he better be careful how he protects the legacy that he leaves for other Liberian leaders who will be from the indigenous side of our spectrum, of our political spectrum. You cannot do that. Political violence is unacceptable. When you see it happening on camera, what does it take for you to come and condemn it in the first place? You will wait for 7 days. 7 days is enough to kill an elephant, to butcher it and finish it. 7 days is enough to carry on. It's just that simple. So George Weah fears that when he comes to America, he will be seriously and vehemently opposed for his oppressive leadership in Liberia. So he decided that he will come and save face by saying that he denouncing violence. He does not denounce violence. He should have done it on the first day, or the second day, or the third day. So I'm disappointed. I'm very disappointed in his leadership. And I can tell you, Liberia does not deserve that leadership. And for him to know the first part of the Constitution is clear, that leadership of the country is for the benefit of the people and for their happiness. And they can alter it if their happiness so require. And I can tell you, in 2033, the Liberian people better get prepared for a better leadership than what we have right now. Because this leadership is not in the interest and they do not serve the benefit of the Liberian people. Thank you.
What veterans of Soup are doing in
Oh,
this regard?
Thank you very much. The veterans of Soup have established a fund drive to which I'm going to contribute. For me, I don't announce what I'm going to contribute. I'm going to be contributing significantly to the recovery effort and the health
Papa,
effort
you
of
bringing me on or not?
civilians. We are going
Hold
to
on.
show that
Okay,
we
okay.
communicate with all of the relevant stakeholders within the sub-region and outside of the sub-region to bring pressure to bear on this government to do the right thing, to denounce violence, and not only denounce violence, but to bring all perpetrators, I'm saying all, including George Weah, to justice, because it is his party, he's the standard bearer. Crimes that were committed, if they can be associated to the party, he must take responsibility and apologize to the Liberian people and not try to hide the fact and say he doesn't know the COP. No. The best thing he can do is to go on live TV and apologize for violence against the Liberian people by his thugs and hooligans and zombies and charlatans. That's what he should do. Apologize, and then we can be able to move forward.
Thank you. I will take our first caller, and here the number to call are 267-938-2801. That is our first number to call, or you can better call on 215-824-8124. We have our first caller. Caller, what is your name and where are you calling on from?
Hello.
Yes.
Oh, my name is Tofik Wesley Tano, and I'm a veteran of the Vanguard Student Unification Party.
Okay.
And I can assure you, from my body, my soul, and my bones, I will continue to be an ideologue of the party. Let me say this. Interestingly, I live 30 minutes drive away from Washington. I will be in Washington in December. And I want to see the talks that will be sent to build up in Washington. So this is not a question as to whether Georgia is not going to face one of the stiffest demonstrations in Washington. He will face it. And we will be there. When you touch a member of the Vanguard Student Unification Party, you have touched all the veterans of the party. And I am calling on every veteran that live closer to Washington and even away from Washington, make it your duty to be in Washington comes December when the government comes. Let me be very frank. The issue of the president issuing a statement, I do not hear it. It is belated.
Why?
And let me be very frank. After blooding our members of our party, peaceful students demonstrating a distance away from the demonstration, from the celebration at the U.S. Embassy, and you go there and you send in talks to go and brutalize our students, and after that must have been done, you took almost 5 to 6 days to condemn the act, and you want us to hear you? That is unfounding. It is unacceptable. Let me tell you, there is no apology that can be accepted. The only thing we want to see as veterans of the party and as Liberian citizens, what we want to see is justice. Those who committed the act must be prosecuted, must be arrested and prosecuted by the justice ministry. There is nothing called, oh, let's bygone be bygone. Those days are gone. I will be calling for justice and peace commission. This generation, it is not the justice and peace commission generation. The justice and peace people are those that came before us, our fathers. Those are the people that were meant for the justice and peace. Our lives were destabilized due to the conflict in our country. We never had time to play. We're not going to allow anyone to make our children to experience what we experience. And you think we're going to sit and say, oh, let bygone be bygone, let's sit on the table. We will not allow it. People will be prosecuted even if this government does not prosecute those individuals that committed the act. Let me tell you this. Government, after this government will prosecute them, and we will make sure we go after them in the future, that government will prosecute them and justice will be done. We will not allow this to sleep. Let me be very frank. You cannot go, even if it was not even members of SUP, if it were even students, different institution students. I mean, tell me, how does it sound? How does it look for you to see individual you know what it took me back to? It took us back to the dark days of our country, back in 1990s, when you saw a president being disgraced in front of camera. This is unacceptable. We're not going to let this to lie, because you know what happens? If we do not take a stand, this will continue to happen. If we do not institute justice, at the end of the day, people will continue to do this thing and think they can go scot-free. Today is not like yesterday. We will make sure justice will prevail, and comes December, I will be in my total SUP regalia, and I will be in Washington, D.C., and I want to see as to whether they will bring their thugs from Morovia to come and brutalize us. One good thing I know, this is America. This is land of the free. This is where you can talk. This is where press freedom is, and this is where we'll be able to erect the checkpoints when the president comes and tell him to face the country. So what is going on in Liberia is just the beginning of the fix the country. But he will come and meet us here in Washington, D.C. God bless you. My name is Tofik Tanu. I'm an ideologue of the party, and I am the Pan One type of son.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next caller. Caller, what is your name and where are you calling out from?
Good morning, baby. Good morning, Francis. This is Pastor Mo calling you from Charlotte, North Carolina.
Go ahead.
Thank you. I want to say good morning to your studio guests. Thank you for your words of encouragement. But I would say this to every one of us in the diaspora and to us in Liberia. George Weah press statement or press release is belated. He only did that to wet the shame. We know that if he is a man of peace, as he said in his statement, he did not make any statement when the full orator was killed, but he said they were boyfriend and girlfriend. Now knowing that they were fathers and mother, there's no statement of, there's nothing that shows that you are a man of peace. You say speaking a word or saying something and doing different thing is have different interpretation. When those four orator was killed or murdered and the body was placed on Broad Street, he said there was boyfriend and girlfriend. That does not show he is a leader of peace. And what happened with Soup? Well, George Weah just acted like a Peter. You know, Peter denied Jesus. So George Weah denied his people. But this is what I want to tell our Liberian people, those of us that live in the U.S. We're going to be in Washington. Washington, we're coming. And the only thing I'll say to every one of us that are driving to Washington or flying to Washington, we just need to know the hotels that George Weah and his delegates are going to be in, because they're not going to come outside. They're not going to shopping. We're going to barricade the hotel. We're going to stand before the hotel. They will not come outside to shopping. They will not attend the meeting. And we say to our Liberian brothers back home, if they do come to Washington and we stage a protest, you too get ready to stage a protest at the Roberts International Airfield. You'll get there in the numbers and you'll line up on the runway that his plane will not land. Let the world know that we are serious. We have a government that is insensitive to the plight of the people. The people that are suffering now in Liberia, they are more than before. And I say this to us, the good people in Liberia, they are more than the bad people. But because the bad people, they continue to increase wickedness, so they look at, they are many. They are not many, they are not more than the good people. It is time for us to stand up for our rights. We will do what we can do in the U.S., but you in Liberia, do what you can do. America will not step in to help us if we cannot stand up to help ourselves. Thank you very much, and I'm watching, gentlemen. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, Francis, we have a caller there.
Not yet.
All right. The number to call are 267-938-2801 or 215-288-218. The number to call are 215-266-6509. That is the number to call on your WhatsApp. Mohamed, Vani Mame, you listen to Soup veteran. What do you have to say to that veteran?
Anu was one of my closest friends, and a veteran of the Vanguard Student Unification Party. Very consistent. It's an ideologue. It's a moral voice, and he served his people well. And I can tell you for sure, he's going to be in Washington. And I'm just saying to all Soup veterans all over the world, if you have the possibility, if the possibility exists for you to make it to Washington, D.C. in December, make it there. Because between now and December, if nothing is done, if justice is not served, if those people...
Vani Mame will be back shortly. He will be back. I think his network is giving him a hard time where he is. Brother Duno.
Yeah, AB, let me just add to what.
Okay,
Oh, he's back.
Vani is back.
Yeah. So thank you.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so I'm about to board my flight. I will be with you in subsequent time, and I want to say thank you and say sorry to Walter Civilli, and I would like to say on behalf of the party, I will support the medical bills of the comrade and all other struggles. On August 24th, I want you guys to have another protest in December, we'll be having another protest too. So thank you very much. God bless you and save Liberia from decadence and misrule and violence. Thank you.
Thank you. That was the voice of Vani El-Mame. Why?
So he's actually traveling today?
Yes.
Oh, okay. He did well, at least for appearing. Yeah, AB, let me just add on to what Vanny said. You know, like he said, we should not cry for George Weah. George Weah doesn't even deserve to be president. That's the first thing.
Why?
The reasons are simple. There is a lady that lives in Ghana right now with 3 minor children. She ran away for her life. And she didn't know where to start from. For privacy reasons, I'm not going to call her name, but her name is already in the public. This woman and her husband just got married prior to George Weah ordering his death while on a country tour. AB, for God in heaven's sake, presidential EPS, Executive Protected Service personnel was killed while George Weah toured the counties. Under his watch, he saw this guy being killed. And his people came up with kangaroo narrative that this guy shot himself in his leg, over his shoulder, and in his brain, and finally died. I'm not a security person. I'm not a forensic. Can somebody get 2 shots to their own brain before they fall down, AB?
Maybe.
How can George Weah be a lover of peace and call himself so-called peace ambassador? He ordered somebody to be killed. If that gentleman did anything against the ethics of Executive Protected Service as an institution, why couldn't he be disrobed and turned over to the Minister of Justice? That's jungle justice. That's Moses law that the Bible talk about.
But maybe.
No, AB, give me small time, please, I beg you. Because this man do a video recording shamelessly and put it out to the public to make himself to appear as a peace ambassador. George Weah had never been peaceful based on his records. When George Weah saw our game, the Winter days, and sport lovers in Liberia got pissed and caused a mar, he told the Liberian people that we were ungrateful people. He calls people that cause a mar. When people are peace ambassador and peaceful in nature, they're supposed to act like Jesus Christ. When they slap your left ear, you get your right ear, they slap it too. Then we know you are really peace ambassador. Like Vanny said, when those auditors were killed, AB, this is a man that called himself peace ambassador. He didn't come up with a single statement to counsel the family members of these people. As a leader, he said they were all boyfriend and girlfriend activity. That woman's body was carried on Broad Street. For God in heaven's sake, when the internal auditor got killed by them, only because he was about to publish a report, they said the man fell down. Did Joe Weah come up with any statement? No. When the 3 boys got missing, they ordered their death. They killed them. George Weah made Moses the government #1 funeral home to do business with, up to today. What happened to Odell Shammer? What happened to Princess Cooper? What happened to the superintendent? What happened to election commission magistrate in Grand Jide that was ordered killed by George Weah people? What happened to him? up to date. They can't even find his body. But you know what? I think it's good for the Liberian people, especially those young people that voted for George Weah. George Weah is not a peace ambassador. George Weah is not peaceful. Throughout Madasadi regime, Akara Mose Gray, Moba Moru, and the likes. The Poku way water on underclothes, they say that was Eli Johnson Sadi Penty. They prepare Eli Johnson Sadi Kiaske under his watch as standard bearer. Did he come up with a single statement? No. Condemning it? No. How can this man portray himself as peaceful human being when he ordering other people to be killed? Citizens that he's supposed to protect, Eddie. You know, like Vanny said, George Weah is on social media super active. His surrogates, they are there. You want to tell me this innocent student, somebody on the chat, just like your son Timothy Weah, you order your party touch, hooligans, let me use the words of Vanny, barbaric in nature, to go and kill another woman's child on camera, and you had the police people watching. What did they do? They protected the CDC COP people. Regrettably, this useless president called, he said, George Weah, come up with a pre-recorded statement denouncing CDC COP members when they have been coming up with press conferences alongside with Jefferson Koji as a youth chair, and you say they're not part of your party? This is beyond and above deception. To use a word desecrating the sacredness of our presidency, it is understatement. It is understatement. This man came up with a song titled Liar Man. The real liar man is George Weah. His party chairman said it before he gave women joy, he got to have sex with them. And the party chairman talked about it. He said, the man's a liar, man. They want to take him down from his own country, so people lie on him. He is the liar in chief.
But that was a drunker talk. That was a drunker talk.
It was no local ultra, it was no liquor talk, it was a reality, and it continued to be reality because Joshua continued to prove himself. How can he denounce CDC COP when they have been coming up with press statement alongside with Jefferson Koji, who represent the young people in the party, who is a city mayor that he appointed? How can he say that? We all know these people are public records people. They are on the social media. They are being seen publicly with sedition. They are sedition. They run away from COP. Who did that? Jefferson Koji initiated that. Jefferson Koji initiated these guys leaving the COP going to CDC. So they formed the primary reason why they left. They gave them money, chaos violence. They induced them so that there could be a counter protester against the COP. The COP, all COP activity in terms of peaceful assembly, in terms of demonstration, if there was one. That's all. And other forms of whatever. Even though these things are issued in our constitution. How can you beat somebody like that? How can you inject somebody with unknown substance and you have a president, call himself president, taking 1 week straight, 7 days before he come up with pre-recorded statement? Useless. That statement I refer to as useless. It should not be accepted by any good human being. The same way the president, George Weah, have made our country to be useless in the eyes of international community and in the eyes of well-meaning human beings. He continued to go. He's not going to fix anything. And he doesn't want anybody to say anything about it. He wants to use third party to gather, to gather other people. Using young people to gather young people. But George Weah, when the hair is rotting, the entire body is rotting. George Weah is rotting. His government is rotting. And Liberia is rotting as a result. He gave it taxpayer money to other young people to go and commit crime. And that stupid justice minister sitting there, he comes from the human rights community for over 30 years. I thought he was a good man. But he had undermined and compromised his ethics as a lawyer. As a lawyer. I'm not even talking about justice minister. As a lawyer. And when Musa didn't leave that position, I don't think he can practice law anymore and people will listen to him. Because you should be sitting down there and allow this undeveloped president, unprepared, incapable, to tell you to do your job. After 7 days, Ebi, by law, all crimes are committed against the state. Nobody need to tell the police, go do your job. Nobody need to tell the justice minister, go do your job. Up to this point, there is no arrest, and the very group of people that committed this brutal violence against another citizen of Liberia, they are visible, and they can't even effect an arrest. That is to tell you, Mr. Weah is a real liar man. Everything he said, that's why he refused consistently to have a live broadcast in terms of press briefing, in terms of press conferences. To talk to the Liberian people on camera, it's not about sophistication or lack of sophistication. It is because of deception. He doesn't say what he really means in reality. He said things to cover up what they told him to say. George Weah, he ain't got no records of peace. Up to this point, George Weah doesn't even speak to some people in Liberia. Just because they disagree with him. The chairman has just been over there because of the people. He cannot remove Moba Maru easily. But don't be surprised after election. People that agree with George Weah, even behind the scene, he is going to find a way to remove you. How can that kind of person be peaceful? But let me tell you something. Let me tell you something, AB, and our audience. Boko Haram is visible. Ben is visible. And the rest of the CDC COP members, we all see them right now on our screen. They are visible. And they came up with a counter press statement against the president's statement. And he denouncing them. Denouncing them on camera. That song he sang few months ago. Mr. Liar Man. He is a real liar man. George Weah is inherently a criminal mandate when it comes to truth telling. When it comes to truth telling. He's not willing to say the truth. So, Abi and our audience, this is a time for Newton Taylor of motion. Every action, there must be equal and opposite reactions. So this is the time for Mosey law. So 100% agree with Yeke Kolba. 100% agree with Yeke Kolba. Why? This motherfucker, excuse me for my language, that's the way I'm going to use this money. This motherfucker throws two, must tune them. We must tune them to fire for fire. Yeah, not Jesus Christ. These motherfuckers tune, anybody must tune them. People must be ready. We gave them power. We cannot sit down there. They use our taxpayer money to abuse us because we give them power. And forget about that. Coming to Washington, probably Joe, we are not coming. Because he knows very well what happened in Liberia will never happen in America. He need to ask the late Turbo. When Taylor was ULA's president, there was spontaneous protests by Liberians here in America, both in New York and Washington, D.C. Just where you get on this one, we will embarrass you to the letter. We will embarrass you the way you're embarrassing our people. And you know what? You can call back Pastor Charles Aku said, while we will do our own in America, yeah, Liberian people need to do their own. And of course, they need to do their own. They need to do their own. When George Weah leave that country, everybody should land on at the airport doing his arrival. Guess what? People cannot stand up. We must stand up, AB. This is a very behavior that got us to where we are. We should not allow that behavior again. This man got to pay for his actions.
The Liberian people, they are God-given people. They are hard, they are hard-solving people. So the Liberian people, they will not do that. The Liberian people will never do that. To go to the airport, to go to stand in their masses, some of them will do, but the vast majority will not do that. Because the president is paying, giving them bag of rice, giving them token. At the end result, for them to not talk, you saw it on our show. For us to be able to invite somebody who is not employed at the end of the ministry, but working for the university, refuse to come here, to come to speak. Telling you, Francis, that the university got to order him, or the university has to give him permission before he can come here to speak. Then you want to say that the majority of the Liberian people should go to Lanark. Why would Lanark in DC?
You know how to do it, AB. Opposition political parties leaders must lead.
They are not prepared. That's the reason why I keep saying Liberia is a place. Liberia is not a country. Liberia is a place, because what you see opposition doing, they are government in waiting. Opposition, they will chastise the government. They will erect the necessary checkpoints in every government. But you saw the citizens when they were in opposition. The citizens were making sure that Madam Saleh never used to sleep. That's how opposition are. But this opposition, the current opposition, they're drinking milk and honey. Then you expect them for them to go to in fact they were not even pay you here. It is sad.
You know what we need to do? Those of us that support them, we need to send them a caveat. They need to move now. They need to get out of their closet. This Christopher could be my brother from mom and dad. He could be your brother from mom and dad. Could be your mother's son. And people like George Weah that we surrender our political right to can do this to that boy only because he exercised his constitutional right to assemble. And George Weah and his CDC party sent torch to the embassy, U.S. embassy, and brutalized this boy on camera. It could be me. Maybe it could be you. You know what they're doing? They're trying to silence the majority of the people. Like Pastor Charles Aku said, there are more good people in and outside of Liberia who are Liberians than the bad people. But they have made it appear like the bad people are more than the good people. And those good people, we need to show up. Those of us who are supporters of these so-called opposition political leaders,
this is Park Dental Riverdale.
We need to send a caveat. They need to come out to lead our people. They need to come out to lead our people. Or else we need to withdraw or hold back our support. We need to do that because this thing will degenerate into problem. Especially election is next year. If they can do this at this time to university students, what do you think they're going to do when we start to campaign and say the truth, and they don't like the truth. It is sad. This barbaric and cruelty must stop, and must stop now. All right, caller. So you know what? We are still here and we are waiting for your call. Call us on 267-938-2801. 267-938-2801. 215-824-8124. 215-824-8124. Give her your call to send your contribution. In addition to that, Kangoma Multi-Services Consulting Immigration Services.
I will give you the call later on.
Our number is already on there. So if you have any immigration issue besides going to court and deportation, give her a call. If you want to file for your mom, for your dad, husband and wife, or children, give her a call. In addition to that, DED is ready for Liberians that came here prior to May 20, 2017 and overstay your visa. Give her a call on 267-648-8012, 701-330-4693. It'll be back to you.
You know, Francis, that's the reason why I keep saying that Liberia is not a place. Places like Nigeria, places like Ghana, places like Guinea, you will find out that the opposition's political party, they are in government in waiting. The opposition political party, they will be erecting unnecessary checkpoint on the ruling establishment. But for us, the men are drinking milk and honey along with tea. Drinking tea, coffee. Relaxing, reading newspaper. Yeah. Opposition reading newspaper every day.
But they're not taking no action anyway.
That's the reason why, for me, I am saying for now, I will rest my support for JMB. I will rest my support for JMB because I'm not seeing JMB, I'm not seeing the party taking the actions that I expect from them. I'm not seeing it.
That's what we need to do. We need to slow down our support.
So my support, whether financial, moral, all my support will be seized. Because you cannot have a serious opposition. You cannot have a serious and vigorous opposition. Let me take it.
You got these crazy things going on.
Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you.
What is the name? What is the name?
My name is Ben. I'm calling from Minnesota.
Very go ahead.
So, I want to join the voices of the many Liberians to condemn the acts that happened. But here is my problem that I'm having with all of us as Liberians. When things are starting from the beginning, we do not take action until it permeates before we want to change it. What makes this particular incident so unique is that the actors have not changed. The only thing that changed is the uniform that they are wearing.
Mm-hmm.
It's the only thing. When Helen Costa trained these boys and went in the street and were burning tires and were disrupting, and most Liberians, I should not say everybody, most Liberians were hailing them, calling them heroes. They were strong, they were brave men. Some of us said this thing is wrong and it needs to stop. People must protest. Nobody should not stop anybody from going to protest. But when it comes to destroying stuff, that is not right. Now, the thing just turned around. Now they went on the other side now and now most people want to complain about their actions, and I just think that it is wrong. It is wrong.
It
So
is
we
wrong
must
for
be able.
us. It is wrong for us to condemn that. That's why it is wrong.
No, no, no. It is wrong. It is wrong for what they did the first time, and it is wrong for what they did to this young man. So all I'm saying that we should be able to call these things out, no matter what side it falls on. The same amount of venom that we have now to criticize them, I wish we had that same venom to criticize them the first time when they went in the streets burning tires and destroying stuff.
Me,
All I have,
I never saw them when they went on the street to destroy tire. I never saw
but
that.
yeah, but Amy, that's that's how it is. When you have these blinders on your eyes and you refuse to see other things when they are wrong on the other side, you always say, "I didn't see it," and that
No,
is the problem
but
with
what
us.
I
Abi,
never saw it.
Abi,
Yeah.
Abi,
But
can I
whenever
ask
we,
this caller a simple question, please? Let me ask you a simple question.
Listen to my
yeah,
co-host.
okay,
Yeah, yeah, caller. Let
yeah,
hold it constant. Let's just hold it constant for hypothetical reason. Should we
uh-huh.
equip burning tires to that of brutalizing human being as the way you saw that student was brutalized? Should we compare
Th-
that to
they are all violence. They are all violence, and here's the
violence
reason,
against human being and burning tire? Which one is more greater?
my brother. The
Just
way
give me the.
how people, yeah,
No,
okay,
I want you to give me
let
the
me tell you,
answer.
man.
I mean, we gotta be objective. You said we should be objective. When we see it from the left, we should say it. When we see it from the right, we should say it. I want us to start
All
it
different
now.
things.
The violent melted against Christopher Waters Sulu. Can you compare that with burning a tire?
Yeah, but now I agree with you, and all I'm telling you, it is the same people that we are talking about here. They did not change
Okay.
because they started burning tire and we did not talk. So
Okay.
guess what happens? Their
Okay.
behavior increased now from burning tires to attacking human beings.
Okay.
These are the same actors. They did not change.
Okay.
It's only their uniform that changed. And
Thank you.
all I'm saying.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Carter, what is the name and where are you calling her from? Carter, what is the name and where are you calling her from?
This is Pastor Mo. I want to say thank you to you. I want to say thank you to you and Francis for answering that caller. I just left the line. Can you all hear me?
Yeah, you are live, Pastor Mo. You have
Thank
1
you.
minute.
Thank you. You see, these are the people who look at the wrong and call it right,
Mm-hmm.
and look at the right and call it wrong. And I like the question you asking and the question Francis asking. You can recall the time that when they were with Costa, they went into the street and burned tire. The COP put up the largest protest ever in Liberia history, and it was peaceful. It was peaceful. Where are you coming from? I just want to tell you all thank you. And I like the route that you all going, but I want to say this to Honorable Yeke. Honorable Yeke, please keep my on a black barrel. Send the going around and they gave me red barrel. When we arrive in Liberia after the protest in December, just make sure you're at the airport to give me my own black barrel. I need to wear my own black barrel so they can know that we will wear the black and let them wear the red. And let's see who will run from their friends. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Pastor Bo.
My friend and brother, Francis Yapati.
Yeah, Abi, let me just make the point quickly before we go, okay? Or maybe I can make it part of my parting comments.
Yeah.
So, folks, again, as usual, first and foremost, we appreciate our God. All praises belong to Him, okay? No one else. But we also want to say thank you plenty for coming, for joining us, those of you that are there right now, and those of you that will come later. Do not believe in George Weah, believe in Liberia and the Liberian people. George Weah is Mr. Liar Man. He's a liar beyond and above. If other well-meaning Liberians in and outside of Liberia have not contributed for this university student medical bill, he will have died. By now, he would have been dead. So, President of the Republic of Liberia, excuse me, overwhelmingly elected by the young people because of the love for sport. And you will treat one like that. 7 days after the incident, on camera, on social media, this president does not even have the audacity to address the Liberian people in person on camera. But he has the guts after 7 days to do pre-recorded tape and give it to us with no sympathy, with no respect to the rule of law. And you have other Liberians calling us that because people burn tires, so somebody must be manhandled violently. I wish that was Timothy we are. I would have been happy and you know what, cheering glory to those who did it. And let me see just we are reaction. But let me tell you again, we don't need no money from the government or Liberia, which I know they ain't going to pay a dime because they can't even pay their own bills. They can't even pay the bill for LEC, the current that they use. Jovia doesn't pay for anything in Liberia. And the Ministry of Justice will come on and grab Poker and grab Ben and grab the rest of the CDC, COP people. We will not even applaud them. It just means that they have now started to do their job because the worthless and useless President George Weah have told them to do their job. They don't know when to do their job.
Okay.
But let me tell you something. There is no way you're going to plant rice and get cucumber out of it. Cucumber will produce cucumber and rice will produce rice. Bar will never go unnoticed. The same way good will never go unnoticed. George Weah and his cronies, his cartel member, either today or tomorrow, they will be held accountable for their actions. Okay. And you, opposition, you must leave your closet by now and lead the people. AB, if you don't know the record,
hold on.
There is no senator based on our political record, based on our political history, in any part of Liberia, including Prince Johnson in Emma County, have ever gotten that number of votes that Dallas Delon got consistently 2 times. Delon, Nyombli Kanga, Joseph Boaka, Bernard Ure, and the likes can now organize a mass-based spontaneous protest to lead our people to check this government. Send the legislatures are not doing it. If they cannot do that, how sure are we that when we give them power, they will do better?
Okay. All right. The
philosophers say if your Christmas will be better, you will know it from the eve of the Christmas. These people, I don't think, if they continue their path, they will even show up any good leadership when we give it to them.
Thank you.
So, folks, we need to stand up and we need to stand up on our own using the Constitution.
Thank you.
Thank you, and thank you plenty.
Now we have a caller on the line. Caller, what is the name and where are you calling out from?
Good morning, AB. This is Evangeline.
Says Ivan, how you doing?
Yeah, I'm okay. The caller that spoke before the gentleman, you can see the my hate for Costa. Those are one of the haters for Costa. When the Costa order anyone to go burn tire, Costa was not in Liberia when tire was burned. The COP had their peaceful protest. The world, all the journalists, even down to Fox News, reported it. And there was no tire burn. When tire was burned, Costa wasn't in the country, and Costa didn't train nobody. So that your hate your car for Costa, it will suffocate you in America until all of you will go to your grave one by one. George, we are a flimsy recording. I don't know why we keep talking about it. The right thing that man just said, the man that just spoke, is the what they call her, that lady, the opposition in the opposition, Delon, all these. But the only person that left with balls right now in the opposition is the Honorable Yeke Koluba. Yeke is the only person I wish he can become a president. I'm sorry. I respect Omen Boaka. I respect all the opposition, Mr. Cummings, but they don't have balls. Omen Boaka have gone back to sleep. I'm sorry today, but we have to say it. Even when you like someone, it's your child, your mom, you got to tell them the truth. And what they're going to prove to us, because what they're doing, they close their arm and watching on the arena people fighting, and they're sitting down home. They're waiting for 2023 to become president. That's the only thing. They will go and do recalling. Other one will dress in costume and recalling. I condemn. You have been doing the condemn. George Weah, a gangster. They are claiming on top of you.
Okay.
And what will happen during the election? They're going to be worse. And when you fool yourself, you bring this evil doer, it will be worse. What they did to that young man, it reminds me when they were executing President Doe, and they were cutting his ear off and nakeding him.
Okay.
History repeated. So everybody say, "Oh, don't free war, don't free war." War is about to come back. I'm
Okay.
sorry to say that. Liberian people hate to speak the truth. They like to pretend and not saying it behind closed door. They will be talking war. If you beating somebody child on and killing people, you expect them to just close their eye and not do come back to you. When they're coming back to you, it will be a war. And that's
Thank
what
you.
George Weah. George Weah is not a peaceful person. He's just a pretender. He's an evil person. All he came for is to steal. And to some of my grandchildren brothers who are still narrow-minded, I can see your post on this one man that doesn't even care for you guys. I hope you are listening to me. Weah does not. If you think because of Samuel Kayando that what you beyond Weah don't want to see Samuel Kayando, he's not proud of him. Since Weah got into power, have you seen him mention Samuel Kayando in a mouth?
But have them pay
Yeah.
Samaka do wealth benefit?
Yeah, nothing. He never once did speak to that woman. When election was coming, the VP and somebody went to the lady house to get her T-shirt. After the election, that was it. Even the child still was able to speak to that woman. Then we are what you're supporting. Your only support we are, most of you that support we are you that never knew the history, what really went on in Liberia. You grew on the refugee camp, practice BM behavior, stealing money. So you don't see wrong when you see wrong. You don't know the difference. You only supporting we are our countrymen. I don't get for damn if Samuel Kayando were in power mistreating people. We got to talk about it because when war comes, they don't isolate people and say, okay, because of your dirty behavior, they're going to mingle all of us again.
Okay.
So we got to speak out.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mama. Thank you. That's the way to go.
We have a next
That is the way to go.
Carter, what is the name and where are you calling from?
Good morning. AB Dr. Potter, Western Pennsylvania.
Dad, how you doing?
To God be the glory. I just want to take a note on this historic day to remind our people and those who hold state power that the day of reckoning is going to be here soon. And we will continue to work behind the scene to ensure that our land and our people live.
Hold on.
Lives were sacrificed. We shed blood and tears to get to this level and to see the country degenerating. I think it's sad, it's pathetic. In that same vein, I want to remember a great comrade in the struggle. Alari Tukwa celebrates his birthday today.
Oh, wow.
We salute you, comrade. You've been in the vanguard. You brought some of us to student struggle. And as is often said within the African context, in the cause of the people, the struggle continues.
Thank you.
That's powerful. Thank you, Dad.
Carter, what is the name and where are you calling her from?
Hey, Brian, good morning. Victoria calling from Philly.
Vic, how you doing?
Not so good.
How did Philly?
Philly is not bad. So Abraham, I'm just calling on the show to just give my little input. You know, every day we sit there and tell the Liberian people, y'all go out and protest, y'all go out and protest.
They will not do well.
I don't think that is the way out. Because the Liberian people are already seeing what is happening to the few that will just go in the street to protest. And if they try it, the next thing, they will be killed. So until maybe there will be a group that they can depend on and say, yeah, when we go out, this group will be protecting us. Because when that group is formed, it's not the people. I watched, yeah, he was saying it. It's not a group for arm, but a group for security that will protect the people. And when that group is formed and they go in the street and anybody try it, it's going to be fire for fire. And we will
Fire for fire! That's it! That's what we need to do.
Because this is too much. For me, I believe that we are the not count to make any good impact in the Liberian people. Like he came to enrich us and just get doing to the war. And even when people say we are as a foreigner, for me, I believe it. Because you can't be a citizen and become a president and treat the people and was still happy in the country so badly like that you don't come out to speak anything. You don't speak about what is going on in the people's life. This boy can be our brother. He can be our son. That this thing happened to. And you don't come out to speak about what is going on in the country. It's so sad. And until this group can be formed, Liberian people, if you're hearing me, you better don't go in the street. We don't want another Liberian. What happened to Christopher happened to another Liberian again.
No, Mama, we can't say that.
If you're coming in the number, it should be a large number where people will come out in Lofa, in Grand Isle, in Maryland, everywhere, everywhere. It shouldn't just be few people going in the street. We have become a government, have become a murderer and a killer, and we're not hiding it. He did not kill, he never came to rescue Liberia. All he came to do was to destroy Liberia. Coming on those days, I grew up in Lofa. There was nothing called rape in Lofa. You can't tell somebody under child. Nothing, we didn't see nothing like that. We were free. We went on anytime we wanted to go out and keep back home. Anytime we wanted to come back home.
Okay, all right.
But everything, there's nothing like that anymore.
Thank you.
So thank you so much, AB, for the show.
Thank you. Folks, Zaha will let to leave you.
AB, let me just make this one point, please. I beg you. We cannot discourage our people from standing up for their rights. But we are asking opposition political leaders to provide direction, motivation, and courage to stand the test of this time. If they profess to be better leaders, when we give them power, they should showcase now, because the number one responsibility of any government is to provide security protection for its people. If these people cannot show us this now, how sure are we? And just so they know, George Weah and his cronies and his cartel members are not going to give them power on silver platter. They need to show up, and they need to show up now. In addition to that, I think we should go online now and sign a petition to support Yeke Korba so that we can form a vigilante group to provide security protection for our people. We need to support Yeke Korba so that he can motivate and lead our people out there. People want to go out there, but they need leaders to lead them. Folks, this is not going to last forever. Samuel Kanyado King, he gone. Ellen King, she gone. Chancellor King, he is jail. This thing we need to stand up, and we need to stand up for. Thank you, baby.
Thank you. Thank you. That I will let to leave you on the Manelson Abraka Talk Show. Bye-bye for now.